Good day, boxing fans. I tried to get out and boxing pulls me back in. I thought I was done for the year, but out of a Pacific Ocean pops Godzilla. Of course, I'm talking about my favorite fighter in the whole wide world, the monster Naoya Inoue, who will attempt for the second time to become a four-belt undisputed world champion, this time in the junior featherweight division, when he takes on the Filipino fighter, the unified WBA IBF champion, Marlon Tapales in Tokyo, Japan. If that is something that you're into, stick around. In his last fight, the monster Naoya Inoue won the WBC and WBO World Junior Featherweight or Super Bantamweight belts, the 122-pound division, by absolutely picking apart and destroying Stephen Fulton. Now he's going to attempt to unify all four belts by taking on the unified WBA and IBF champion, who just won the titles in a huge upset from Rojan Akhmadaliev, and that is, of course, the Filipino Marlon Tapales. Now, big props to a guy like Tapales, who's just become champion in a big upset. He could have taken a few easy defenses or try and milk the title for a while, but he's jumping straight from the frying pan into the fire against Naoya Inoue. So big props to him for challenging himself and taking on probably one of the most, if not the most dangerous fighters in the world, and that's the 25-0 Inoue. Now, with Naoya Inoue, we know what he is. He's a great technician. He is probably, offensively speaking, the best fighter in the world. Many have him on top of a pound-for-pound list. He's up there with Terence Crawford and maybe Alexander Usyk. There's not much of an argument for the top spots there between the three of them. Now, can Naoya Inoue post yet another dominating performance? He's a four-weight world champion. If he wins, it will be his second four-belt undisputed champion, his second ring championship, because the vacant Ring Magazine junior featherweight title is also on the line on the 26th. I think that is Tuesday there in Japan, in Tokyo. So will it be another dominating performance from Naoya Inoue? Now, who is Marlon Tapales? He's 37 and 3, 19 knockouts. He's got heavy hands and he's a southpaw. And he's an awkward kind of southpaw. We saw there against Akhmadaliev. He got ahead and he put the early rounds in the bank that got him over the edge at the end of the day. Then he fights out of a sort of a semi-crouch. He's got a good jab. He jabs his way into the body, which I like, and then he attacks very quickly, sort of slides in, and he can even hit you with lead uppercuts with the left or with the right. He's got a good straight left that you find in southpaws as well. And he's got those heavy hands and he's got an awkwardness about him. And when he wants to be defensively sharp, like we saw in some of the rounds there against Akhmadaliev, he can be defensively sound, but he also has little lapses where he just forgets to put those hands up and then he gets nailed, like what happened against Akhmadaliev. And he has been stopped before against another Japanese fighter, Ryosuke Iwasa. And that doesn't bode well if you're fighting a puncher like Naoya Inoue. So how can Marlon Tapales bring another big upset, have another Buster Douglas moment like he did against Akhmadaliev? I think he's at a slight height and reach disadvantage to boot. He needs to fight in and out. He needs to use his awkwardness. He needs to take away the jab of Naoya Inoue, which he might be able to do because of the way he stands and because of a southpaw stance. He needs to attack and get out, and I think Tapales' chances are more on the inside. He's better on the inside of his hooks and his uppercuts when he's going to be at range. So I don't think he can win the fight at range of Inoue. He's going to have to get in, land his punches against Inoue and get out before he takes too much punishment. Because how do you beat Inoue? Inoue's only been close to losing once, his first fight with Nonito Donaire, and there he was hurt and he took some damage and he looked to be tottering on the verge of a stoppage defeat before he dug deep and pulled it out of a fire and ended up beating Donaire. And we all see what Naoya Inoue did in the rematch with Donaire. He completely destroyed him. And the one criticism maybe against Naoya Inoue is he doesn't have much head movement. His head is fairly stationary. So if you keep punching back, you have a good chance of nailing him in the return fire. But he smashes up his opponent so bad that they can't hang in there with him. But having said that, not moving his head, Inoue has improved in his defense, I think, in his last fights. And he does it by using his feet. He takes a step backward, he takes a step to the side. He's got very good footwork of just stepping out of range of the punches. So I think what Marlon Tapales is going for him in this fight is his awkwardness. He's difficult sort of rhythm to time, and he might be able to take away that Inoue jab, but Inoue's got a lot else going for him. So Tapales, he's got to keep the fight on the inside. He's got to hope to hurt Inoue with something, with those heavy hands that he does have, and he has to get out before he gets into trouble. I think his chance is up close for Marlon Tapales. Inoue, if I was him, I keep Tapales at a distance, because that's where he's going to nail Tapales. Start working the body on Marlon Tapales and just gradually break him down like he broke down all his other opponents. Now, Tapales is a southpaw. He hasn't fought a southpaw in a while, but he has fought southpaws. Another Filipino, Michael Das Marinas, and Juan Carlos Payano, of course, in his run at bantamweight. And you know what happened to them? They also ended up on the canvas. So I think Marlon Tapales, props to him for taking this fight, making an attempt to become undisputed champion. I think he's up against it. He's got a height and a reach disadvantage. He's been stopped before. He does have heavy hands. His only chance, I think, is on the inside to stay out of trouble. But I can only see one winner in this fight. Guys, if you watch this far, if you're also a Monster fan like me, if you like the channel, please punch that thumbs up button. I will greatly appreciate that. But having said that, I can only see Naoya Inoue winning this fight. The question is, how is he going to win this fight? And I think he's going to score another stoppage. He's going to stop Marlon Tapales, I think, inside of 7 rounds. So I've got Inoue by TKO 7. Please tell me in the comment section, who do you have winning this fight? And please also share the content among your boxing networks, trying to grow this channel. And that's it for me. Now it's really the end of the year, but enjoy the Monster on the 26th of December on Boxing Day after Christmas. And I think Naoya Inoue becomes a ring champion and an undisputed champion for a second time, a 4-weight champion, arguably Japan's greatest fighter ever. And until I see you guys again, please remember to subscribe and keep those hands up.